I've just been here reminiscing about a chorus that I heard. Um, I never heard it before, but it's so real. It's like they're praying to God, they're singing to God that every day you have been faithful. Every day you have been so good. Every day you have been faithful. And as I listen to the words, like I said, I don't know the song, I don't know the chorus. They're good, but those words that every day Jesus Christ is faithful to us when we're not faithful to Him. He is so good to us when we are not good to Him. But I want to give Him thanks. I want to give Him praise for all things. And I want to try to be a better person. If you know to do good and you do it not to you, it is sin, it's sin. So if you know to do good, I know to do good. I need to do good. I need to do better. Each day of my life, I need to do better in reference to people, period, to situations, period. I need to do much better. So since I recognize that, then I just thank God for His manifold blessings toward me. The Bible reading that I was doing was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and how they were taken from their cities and forced to do what they didn't want to do, and that was in reference to what they had to eat, what they had to drink. And King Nebuchadnezzar, he was like, okay, I'm taking the finest out of the Jewish young man, and I'm going to give it to my servant, and I want him to feed them whatever I tell them from the king's palace, from the king's dinner, from the king's place, whatever he fed them to eat, because he wanted them to look really, really good and be strengthened. But Daniel did not want to do that because he wasn't used to that type of food, and he did not want to be in the place that he's eating all of this other stuff. So he asked the man that was in charge. He said, "Do you think you just give me pulse and water? That's all, and don't give me anything from the king's table?" So he was reluctant about doing that. He said, "Now listen, if I do this, I'm going to get in trouble because I have rules to follow that the king asked me to do. So I can't just do that." But because he was a favorite and he had the blessing of the Lord with him, the young man said, "Okay, I will feed you what you want for 10 days. And if the end of that, if you don't look like how I think you should look, then too bad. You're going back and you're going to eat what the king wants you to eat because I don't want the king to kill me." But after 10 days, he was looking much better than the other people that were eating all the other stuff, where we might say eating all the junk. And he was eating like good food that was right for his body, like we should be doing, like I should be doing right now, just not putting any and everything in our mouth. Because when we do that, after a while we get what? We get fat. We don't like ourselves. Oh my gosh, I'm so fat. Yeah, that's because what you put in your mouth. But Daniel realized that he did not want to change from eating the things that he should be eating. So after 10 days, he looked better. He looked much, much better. So when it was time to go and see the king recognized it. Hey, something different about this young man. Something different about him. And he ended up to be a wonderful blessing. But at the end of the day, he was disobedient to what the king wanted him to do. The three Hebrew boys, to bow to the statue, this girl's statue. He said, every time you hear music playing, just go out and bow to the statue, which they were not going to do because they serve Almighty God. Do you know who you serve? Do you realize that you can't do what your friends is doing or what your family wants you to do? You can't do that. If you serve God, then you serve God. If they're telling you, okay, well, you can just go to the bar with me tonight or just this one night or whatever. No. And they might not like you after that, but you have to stand up to your standard and do what you believe that you should be doing as a child of God. Could be a bar, could be anywhere else that you don't feel deep in your spirit that you should be going, then you don't go. So naturally, there's always somebody, a tattletale, that's going to go back to the king and say, well, there's three boys, there's Hebrew boys that you thought were so sharp and everything, and you gave them positions. They're not even bowing to statue. So the king was not pleased. He called them. He said, if you don't bow, then I'm going to throw you in the fiery furnace. These three Hebrew words, I'm going to throw you in the fiery furnace. They still didn't. And then the king said, so see if your God can deliver you from that. So they still said, we're not going to bow. So the king said, okay, take them and throw them in the fiery furnace. But when they took them, they had the clothes on. They had everything, the hat on and everything else on. But when they got near to the fire, they ended up being burnt themselves. And the boys were put into the fiery furnace. So the king said, let me go see. So he went and he looked in. He said, didn't you put 3? They said, yeah. He said, well, look, I see 4. And the 4th one looks different, looks like the Son of God. So at the end of the day, he realized that God can save his people from any and everything, no matter what the situation is. If you trust in him and it looks blank and blink and everything else, remember that he is a God that said he never failed, that he will deliver you. The story goes on, but it's the main part I want to get to us. Trust God. And you can't trust anybody else. You trust the Almighty God. God bless you, and I pray that you got something out of this. Would you go to YouTube, please, and like, if you did, like my stuff, subscribe, and push the little bell that's there. Share it. And I would appreciate it. God bless you. I do love you. Amen.